Welcome back to the show once again on the Armchair QB show. That is, I am Bill Reed. With me as always, the master of disaster himself, the king of sting, the Count of Monte Fisto. He is a psychologist. He's got his license.
Licensed counselor,
Well,
difference,
I mean, are we splitting hairs here? You sit on the couch, you listen to people's problems,
Yeah.
and you come up with some kind of working solution, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
That's why I have you on here. I got a lot of problems. So, Mike Devine.
What's
welcome.
up, buddy?
Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good.
How you feeling?
Not too bad. I'm hydrating.
Yeah, you're turning 40 this week. How you feel about that?
Well, I am cooler than everyone here, so that's how I fucking feel.
Just wait a few years till your daughter's like, "No, Dad, you're not the coolest guy.
No,
you're the most
I'm
uncool
definitely
guy."
not. I'm definitely not. Remember when you actually used to be cool? I used to be like Mike D. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not cool anymore.
We would walk into a room and people were like, "Wow, those guys are maybe a little cool." Now I walk into a room and they just kind of go, those guys are here for the free food and free booze, aren't they?"
You remember like when that cruise that we went on? And
yes.
we had these girls, and they thought we were like kind of just perping a little bit, like, oh, these guys think they're all awesome, right? Where I go, like, we were like, oh, we got this place wrapped down. They're like, oh yeah, and I go, oh, okay, I watch this. I go, and I goes, oh, Mr. Devine, would you like another Chivas and Coke? I'm like, yes, I would, please. Would you like the lady can get a drink? Remember we had the security guards coming up to us and asking what we were doing that night. We had like underage girls like walking in there.
Now, Michael, there's people listening here. Okay, this was a long time ago, and we were only like 19 ourselves. So when you say underage girls, that's clarify.
Not like under 21, they're adult. They're legal age. We're not Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on, man. Yeah, we want.
That's when they're underage for us was like, all right, they're 19 or 20, right? We're all underage, technically speaking.
Oh my god.
Actually, wait a minute. You guys were 21. I was 20.
Oh sure.
It was
international waters.
Yeah.
You have no proof. It's not like today where everything's on Facebook and YouTube and on your phone. Okay.
I just remember getting drunk in the airport. Our plane was delayed at the Sam Adams Brewery at the Atlanta airport.
Oh, hot Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. I just remember just yelling Attica, because our plane was delayed. My dad just giving me the death stare. He goes, I don't give a shit, you're 20. I'm going to beat your ass.
This is pre-9/11. Nowadays, you would have got tased.
Oh, dude, my ass would have been gone. I just think it's funny when you're like, it's fine. I look at my daughter and like, oh, we see my daughter, right? And so I don't care how old she is, And I just remember my dad looking at me like a grown 20-year-old kid and a 40-year-old dad, and he's like, he gave me the look of, I will fucking end you. Like, and you couldn't do anything about it too. He could have beat the shit out of me in the airport, and I couldn't fight back. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I mean, I would have to take it. Like a grown man being his ass beat by another grown man.
Your dad's a pretty cool dude. So I mean, when he gets mad that you've done something.
You have to really. Yeah, I have to, I mean, he's always cool. I remember even on that cruise, I remember like I was drinking a lot, and I mean it was fun, right? And I remember it was like maybe like the third night in, and
listen,
I remember we were at the dining room table, and I had the glass, and they just kept bringing drinks out, and after about the second one, because I was downing him so quickly, I just told the guy, I'm like, my drink gets to here. Just go on, bring me a new one. And my dad took me aside. He's like, "Come on."
That's because you're a classy guy.
He's like, my dad's like, "Come on, man. Like, seriously, like, you gotta slow this shit down." And then like, what was it the next day? No one knew where I was at for dinner, and I was drinking scotch, smoking cigars with like all the old dudes.
You were auditioning to be the most interesting man in the world. Is that what you were up to?
That shit was fun, man. That was a long time ago, though.
I don't know how we got on the subject, but
dude, that was a long time ago. That was like 20 years ago. God.
Let me ask you a question.
All right.
Because the college football season is officially upon us. With
the
Gators of Florida knocking off the Hurricanes.
I know, that was amazing.
In a rivalry renewed game.
I know.
It was a great game.
It was bound to happen. They had to get good eventually. I mean.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of rivalry, when you think of college football rivalry, what is the top, in your opinion,
OSU, Michigan.
OSU, Michigan.
Right? Because we're from the Midwest. But if you went down to Texas, it would be Oklahoma, Texas.
But the general consensus is, and it has always been, that the greatest rivalry in all of sports, is Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
Bigger than
oldest, right?
Well, I don't know about the oldest. I'm just talking about the biggest. I'm talking about the most heated,
Army Navy is a big one I can think of.
I'm not just talking about college football. I'm talking
just
about
in history.
All of sports.
Wow.
Okay, bigger than Red Sox, Yankees.
Really?
Right? Oh, absolutely.
How'd they rank that?
Well, it's kind of opinion, but it's also kind of been that's just the opinion. Like that's just why do most people think that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time? He just is. I mean, it's one of those things. My point is, and
there's a point, right?
well, here's what really grinds my gears. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know it's early in the show, but I am reading Sports Illustrated, minding my own business, online, SI.com.
Doing your thing.
Oh, well,
researching for the show.
Well, I'm a fan, sort of SI.com, and you have a guy here, younger. His name is Ross Dellinger. He writes for SI.com.
Ross Dellinger.
Right. And now this guy just named his top 10 college football rivalries. Not his opinion. He's doing a preseason for college football for SI.com, and he goes, oh, and by the way, click on this link. Here's the top 10 rivalries. So I always click on it because it's always has, as long as I can remember, says OSU Michigan. It just does. That's the way it is. That's even fans of other teams will tell you, yes, that's the top rivalry. He's got us number 2. You know who he's got number 1? In his opinion. And it's not even written as an opinion. It's
number 1 in your heart.
It's written as a fact on this article, which that's what grinds my gears, is somehow history is being changed here. He's got Auburn number 1 against Alabama in the Iron Bowl, because he says that the Iron Bowl and the intensity between these two teams and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy smoking? You're not going to tell me that the Iron Bowl, and it is a great rivalry, okay? So is Oklahoma and Texas. There's a lot of good rivalries, but you're not going to tell me that's not going to tell me that's better than Ohio State.
Colgate versus Wofford.
It's not going to happen.
Harvard versus Yale.
So I looked at this guy.
Army, Navy.
This guy's a 35-year-old writer for SportsIllustrated.com, okay? He's an SEC homer. He went to Mississippi State, strike 1. He covered LSU football for like 5 years. Their beat writer, strike 2. Okay, so now he just swoops in the Sports Illustrated. He's like, you know what? I'm going to rewrite history. I'm going to go ahead and put the Iron Bowl number 1 because I'm an SEC homer, because that's what the SEC fans do sometimes.
Well, if you're in the South, it's almost like that's the sun. Everything revolves around the South. So I mean,
well, let me ask you this: what's the number one rivalry in baseball?
Yankees, Red Sox.
And you're a Mets fan, but even you recognize that the Yankees and Red Sox.
Yeah, because I grew up in the Midwest and we actually have a brain.
But I'm just saying that. But that just pisses me off that people can come in and they just rewrite history. Like, everybody knows that Ohio State and Michigan is the number 1. Especially not even number 1 in college football. You're going to tell me that?
You took this awful personal.
I did.
I know.
I
think you need to breathe.
I don't like, and you being the counselor that you are,
take your earphones off and just rub your ears and just go woosah. Woosah.
I mean, what do you think about people coming in and rewriting history and just saying this is what it is? Not, hey, this is my opinion. He was just saying this is a fact. This is what it is. I think he had Oklahoma, Texas number 3, had Ohio State, Michigan number 2, and he's like, well, the Iron Bowl, it's just the intensity between the two teams and blah 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 blah. Wait, let me tell you something. Auburn has not been that great this decade. They won a national title 10 years ago.
Yeah, but then they got the death sentence though, right? Right afterwards.
This decade, Auburn has gone 64-35. Okay. Not terrible, but you know what? Not great. Alabama speaks for itself. Okay, Alabama is a storied program. It's a look at Alabama. But Alabama versus Auburn, it has not really been the number 1 rivalry. Give me a break. They have to play the Buckeyes versus the Wolverines at noon every year. Do you know why they have to play it at noon? You know why they don't play it at 3:30 or they play it in prime time where all the ratings would be? Do you know why they don't do that?
No, Bill.
Because the fans can't handle it, because they will burn down. And you know this because you've lived on Ohio State's campus.
Oh yeah,
They will burn
I think
down
one of
the
our
campus.
friends is actually videotaped jumping over a burning couch on the news.
They do this for your safety.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
Do they do that at the Iron Bowl? No, they don't. So I'm sorry, Ross Dellinger. Don't bring it here. Don't try to rewrite history. Don't try to say that this is the best rivalry in college football. It's not. It's a good rivalry.
What makes rivalries good is that...
why this pisses me off, I have no idea. But I read that and it just really crawled up my ass.
But it's what is wrong with everything right now. Everyone redefining something and then having it not based on any fact, and then people just being homers for it.
You have this one idiot who died and made him the authority.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just don't get that. I don't know. It just really, really bothers me that's...
Fucking Ross Dellinger.
Yeah.
Fuck him in the face. Fucking asshole.
Damn it. All right, Mike.
Fucking it.
All right, so...
Yeah. But no, I'm going to actually close off on this one even for a second, because it's like, what makes what makes a rivalry is the fact that like how good the teams are. It's why Yankees Red Sox are amazing because those two teams are fucking battling and duking out forever,
it's not
right?
just how good they are. That's a big part of it.
It's just
It's also the hate.
The hate
Yeah.
for it. And like I would sit there and go, the Eagles and Cowboys is a fucking awesome route. We hate each other. We loathe each other. I literally felt a shiver go down my spine when I had to move to Texas, go to grad school. It's like literally, it's like there's something to that, and it's. But that's.
I mean,
it's where you grow up.
Alabama and Auburn. What? Someone poisoned a tree, and oh my God, it's so terrible. Really, Ohio State and Michigan, they will fight you. They will fight you if you wear the wrong color.
They took my girlfriend's mum and fucking threw it on the ground. Fuck that noise.
He had sex with my mama.
He had sex with my mama. Doctor saying he had backiotomy.
Wow. Nothing against SEC fans or Alabama or Auburn.
No,
fans.
I say fuck SEC.
But no, I'm just saying. Don't tell me.
You know what SEC stands for? Suck everyone's cock.
You serious?
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, that's why I got the silver bullet here because it gives you a little liquid courage to tell the truth. Apparently, there.
Mine is Biera Superiore.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I. It's Italian for it tastes great.
You're Italian?
No.
Not even a little bit.
No, not even a little bit. No.
Damn it.
I wish I was.
So, only got on that tangent because it's college football season is officially here.
I know, man. You're. I mean, I like college football. I
love college football.
Yeah, you love it. Where I love pro football.
Well,
you love.
We're not talking about pro football.
I know.
We're talking about the number one rivalry in college football and all of sports, in my opinion, will be and will continue to be Ohio State versus Michigan. I'm sorry, everything else is below it when it comes to the rivalry itself. But that's my opinion. You know what? It's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Yeah.
going back to Florida and Miami.
How'd we get here?
So Florida wins on the field.
Yeah.
And then Miami fans beat down the Florida band director.
I know. Why?
Well,
that's too much anger.
There was, I guess, the Florida band was trying to board the bus or something, and some Miami fan, some lady tried to cut through the line. I don't know what happened. There was some kind of.
That's what always starts everything.
There was some kind of, I'm assuming people have been drinking, plus your team just lost, so you're not going to take any shit, especially off the band. You're just not going to take shit off of them. And I guess the band director, I don't know if by default, like was it like a war, like back in like the Revolutionary War where they would target like who's the general in charge?
Shoot the medic.
There's the band director. Let's go after him because he must be running the show. Or if it was just like a happy accident, he just happened to be the one to. But anyway, he gets choked out, right?
He gets choked out.
He gets choked out by a Miami fan.
Go to sleep.
No, I don't know what happened to the other 400 members of the band. Did they all just stand there? Like, oh, that sucks. Someone help him.
What was it? Was it Prairie View A&M and was it Grambling or something that like it was like the band's got in a fight? It's like one of those schools where the football teams were all that good, and literally it was like the band is what actually is every.
So you have like a handful of Miami fans. Where's the rest of the band at? They have weapons. They have trumpets and trombones and drums and. Why is no one stepping in?
Some good lethal weapons.
Well, no, I'm just curious. How do you not have your boys back? Like, especially.
I mean, how many like band kids have actually been in a fight their entire life?
Well, that's true. But,
I mean, not to be stereotypical or anything, but
just
I mean,
the sheer numbers of them. I don't. How do you stand there and let your boy get stomped on by a Miami fan of all people, and you let that happen, and the guy got
the feast is ruined.
If we don't fight, they will kill us both.
They will kill us both.
Oh, come on.
You know there had to be one person in the back going.
Like, oh my God, it's like Game of Thrones out there.
I know. Life is Game of Thrones, my man.
Now, Michael, we may speak about professional NFL football.
Do we have to? Well, I guess we do, yeah. The armchairs, right?
Well,
it is. Pro football is almost
coming up.
It's coming up, man. We got like 2 weeks, dude.
I'll tell you what, Antonio Brown, I got him in fantasy. I think you got to, I know we've been kind of ragging on him the last couple weeks, but I picked him up. I think he's going to do well. I think he's got his shit finally sorted out with his helmet and with his foot and whatever, You know what he looks like? He looks like a young Barry Bonds with that mustache. You ever see that on Hard Knocks lately?
Yeah, you're right. He kind of
That's
does.
I
Come
was
to think
telling that
about
to
it,
Andy.
yeah.
That's who I see when I look at him. I mean, forget his haircut, but like just his face and his mustache.
Pre-HGH
Like,
giant
yeah,
head.
we're talking like
Barry
Bonds, like 1993, 92. Antonio Brown kind of looks like him. That's what I see when I look at him. But
Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah.
yeah. So I was, pun intended, lucky enough
Pun intended.
not to draft Andrew Luck in my fantasy.
Dude,
I know you weren't either. Stelter.
I wasn't gonna pick him even before then because I knew he had some weird bone issue. I'm just like,
Well,
here we go.
Last year, he came back. He actually won the NFL Comeback Player of the Year.
He had a good year, man. Yeah.
It's stud. I mean, he could have been, back to that same form this year, and had I think one or two nagging injuries, and it just I don't know out of nowhere he retires this past week. I mean, what do you make of that? I don't know. During the game, it leaks out. That's the worst part. They're in a preseason game. He's on the sideline with an injury, and people start getting tweets and texts and like updates and mobile alerts, and
it was crazy. I mean, it reminded me because like I remember it was like I don't know a couple years ago. I remember I drafted Julian Edelman, and sure as shit, 5 minutes later the dude tears his ACL, and you're just watching. You're like, wow, that was a waste of a second pick, right? Yeah. I mean, it sucked. I mean, like. I feel for the guy because,
I've always heard he's a
good dude, and he was just done. I mean, I've been through that shoulder. I've been through that surgery twice.
Oh, here we go.
And you know, man, I'm not a pro athlete in any way, shape, or form, and I would not wish that surgery on anyone. I mean, it messes with you mentally. It's so long term, and he was out for a while. And he had that injury. He had the lacerated spleen. His body.
That just sounds painful.
I know. I mean, he got annihilated. He had no offensive line, and what he was able to, he kind of reminds you of like what Barry Sanders was able to do with nobody around him. Yeah. And so the dude was just beaten up. And he was just done. Now, do I think he'll be back? Yeah, I think he'll be back in a couple. Yeah, I think he'll miss it. I think he'll get some distance on between. He's only 29. I think eventually he would miss the game. I think he's just. Man, he's just done, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Jim Brown retired at 30. Never came back.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I guess I could be wrong. But you can just, I mean, he was just beaten up and done, and you can't play this game half cocked. You gotta go in. That's why Gronk said he retired. He said it just when the love of the game because of the injuries, and Gronk is one of those guys that was injured all the time, and
he'd kind of been teasing about retiring for like 2 or 3 years too. So I mean.
It's easy for us to like say on the outside.
Lux was kind of out of the blue. It was out of the blue.
What was interesting is that there's a lot of like sound bites of him where he kind of teases it almost like.
Oh really?
He thought about it, especially when he was like going through that crap with his shoulder.
Well, no one takes that seriously though. Not when you're in the prime of your career.
It's all after the fact. Yeah, I mean, you'll define it like, oh well, now that you know the rest of the story.
I don't think anybody really. Now football's starting to become a little bit different because. You're seeing more and more guys retire younger and younger because of the head injuries and injuries in general. But I kind of feel like when you're below the age of 30, especially in professional sports, unless you're like a gymnast where they peak at like age 14 or something, I mean, you don't really hear about athletes, retiring unless they absolutely have to.
You're seeing it more out like Par Warlow. He was a linebacker, and he just retired. His wife had a baby, and he's like, I'm done. You're seeing, I think, a lot more where the guys that were smart with their money and like put all their money away and used it smartly, they know they can retire and they'll be set for the rest of their lives. The ones that probably got really good college degrees.
The Colts are letting Luck keep tens of millions of dollars.
I can't believe that. A lot of them could have had to give it back, and they didn't.
You know what I almost think though? I almost think that like they're gonna use it as leverage. Like you've already heard like the rumor mill. That eventually Luck's going to go to the Patriots. I asked Belichick about it, and I guess he didn't like deny it, but like he.
Well, there's a rule you can't.
Yeah, it'd be
you don't like null. If you come back, your contract goes into full effect.
But if you file your retirement papers, I don't know. There's always some legal wrangling, especially when you have like a players' union involved. They could, there's probably a way to do things, but I think the Colts are hedging their bets, going, you know what? We were going to pay this guy this money anyway. Let's go ahead and let him keep the money. And that way, if he comes back, then maybe they have some kind of that's my philosophy. Maybe they have some kind of leverage.
Good faith, man.
Because if he comes back, then maybe he has to repay that. I don't know.
I could see it to where
that's what I would do if I was the owner of the Colts. I mean, I would just say,
yeah, but legally wise, I mean, like once you give that,
I know, but if anything, give him a moral obligation. I don't know.
I would say it's probably more. I think they probably want him to stay in the organization, whether it be scouting, coaching, mentoring, because he really was a good dude. So I could really see something like that. Now, given the guy was also an engineer or architect, so maybe what's his name wants him to maybe design a house for him for free.
Was he a real architect, or was he like a George Costanza?
No, he actually majored. His major is architecture at Stanford.
Okay,
so the dude ain't dumb. I mean,
oh no, I don't think you can be a quarterback and be dumb. I don't think it works that way. I don't. I mean, have you ever? Can you think of any professional or any NFL quarterback that's been dumb? They might have made some dumb decisions on the field, but I mean, can you think of one that where you're just like, man, that guy just
dumb as rocks?
None that I can think of.
I mean, Ryan Leaf was pretty stupid.
Well, he was also on the horse,
like crazy. Yeah, Todd Marinovich was pretty stupid.
Well, again, another guy hooked on drugs. I mean, there's a difference between being an idiot and then when you get hooked on drugs. I mean, that scrambles your brains. I mean, I don't think anybody on drugs makes good decisions.
Jamarcus Russell. That guy was a moron, dude. Jesus. I mean, once again, drugs, scissor.
Was he?
Dude. It was like scissor was his big thing, man. Like, dude, he gained like 80, 90 pounds.
Look at all the money he made. Of course, he's gonna eat like a king every night. I would too.
Dude,
if I had,
that was he
had $40 million guaranteed in the bank or something.
Yeah, it's tough to be a quarterback and be stupid. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
We'll say that.
There's too much to know. I mean, it's possible, but
although Troy Aikman did his best to sound like he was an idiot. Hi, my name's Troy. Buy my bricks. You know, like he.
I like Troy Aikman. He was okay.
Yeah, fuck Troy Aikman. He can suck my cock. I fucking hate any Cowboy.
I saw where now Cam Newton. Speaking of quarterbacks, he's going to be back for week.
He's
going to be back for week 1. I got him on my fantasy as well.
Dude, dude's always injured, man. He's like the most overrated quarterback.
Dude,
of all
he won
time.
the MVP.
Dude, he doesn't win shit though. I mean, he chokes in every major game. He literally throws a tantrum on the sideline. Eagles were beating him so bad. He literally threw a tantrum on the sideline. Literally, like kicking and screaming like a 5-year-old. Like,
maybe, but I got him on my team, so I'm gonna go ahead and hope for the best.
Yeah. You need a lot more than hope. You need like a pope to come down and give you like a miracle or something.
Down with dope, up with hope.
Down with dope, up with hope.
I got him, the former MVP of the league, so he's got the skill.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of we are in preseason and everything.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of we saw a lot of injuries, but we've also seen a lot of teams holding their players out. Like my Eagles, they held almost every starter out from all the games. Wentz.
That's the new trend.
I mean, literally, that's the new trend, and they do a lot of these really high intensity practices that they say are actually almost every bit, if not better, than the games because you're not getting guys in there that are just trying to make a name for himself and make a team. You have starters against starters in those practices. So I don't know.
A good thing.
I mean, so there's a big. This was one of the first years where I really saw a lot of teams and players getting held out. And honestly, when you're seeing some of these injuries that are kind of happening, I'm sitting there going, all right, yeah, maybe that's good. I mean, I'd rather not have some random guys trying to take the legs out of our quarterback. I mean, you saw with Nate Sudfeld with the Eagles. They drive him into the ground.
They're supposed to wear the red jersey. Don't touch him. Again, I've been watching Hard Knocks, and boy, Gruden got on someone's ass. They just barely
in that week 1.
They knocked down the quarterback, and boy, Gruden.
He was heated. Yeah, I think he was about to go. He was about to go Chucky on him.
What I love about that is when the backup quarterbacks, one of them, Peterman, I think he messed up, and you just knew Gruden was going to get in his ass because he did something. And you could just see Gruden was just.
Gruden is scary,
and the guy came in his eye. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Well, if you watch, I'm actually impressed. I'm actually going to borrow some of his techniques for parenting.
Yeah.
He has this way of like getting on a rant or a swear, rant when he's angry. He could start slow.
He's like, "Knock if you agree with me."
Yeah. Well, he'll do this whole thing of it was like he was talking to the team. All right, now everyone, we had some good We had some good moments out there, you know, but we gotta fucking clean up the fucking mistakes. And like just like came out of nowhere. I'm just like, God damn, it got my attention. I'm scared. I thought I made a mistake on the field. That's how scared I was. And I was on my couch,
You thought you
not
were screwed up at home.
in Ohio.
You weren't watching right.
I wasn't. I don't know. Like I thought maybe there's something wrong, but
Your viewing intensity is for shit.
It was the most awesome. I'm like, that is fucking glorious. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Gruden as a coach. I like him as an announcer, and I think he's a cool dude. But man, that scared the shit out of me. Like you don't know when it's coming. He'd be sitting there going, "Hey, Dad, we want to make some hamburgers? Yeah, we could have some hamburgers, or we can have some fucking hot dogs,
which are way better.
Way better." You know, so you bought some Pepsi, and Pepsi's all right. But I'd much rather you buy some Coke.
Damn, why are you yelling?
I don't know. It's Gruden.
You always tell me about yelling.
It's Gruden. Gruden is the one that's doing it. I'm sorry for yelling. I mean,
who was that? Was that Rex Ryan a couple years ago that was yelling? Well, it's been more than a couple years ago on Hard Knocks, and he's yelling, or he's yelling at everybody. Basically, what you were saying. We need to turn up the intensity and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And he goes, "Now let's go get a fucking snack."
Oh yeah. The best is
now that's great TV right there.
the best is so I mean because Eagles never been on Hard Knocks, but there's a montage. So Doug Peterson, he loves ice cream apparently.
Well, who doesn't?
Everyone loves it, but he really loves ice cream.
So do I.
He ends like almost every meeting looking for some reason. All right, now let's go get some ice cream. All right, let's go get some ice cream. So it's always him wearing something different because it's a different day. Yeah. So hey, let's go get some ice cream. Let's go get some ice cream. So I guess when they won the Super Bowl, he got like a truckload of Haagen-Dazs and had an ice cream party. Oh man, these
we have too much fun on this show.
Yeah, it's our way of just kind of once again the shit that we would normally talk about. We just kind of talk about it with a lot of a couple hundred friends. That's all. You know?
Like I said, we got the Silver Bullets back this week.
Yeah,
not really a sponsor of the show, but it's a sponsor of my personal life. So
I don't ever how do you drink that shit,
dude? Your boy Stelzer got me hooked on these years ago, like 15 years ago.
Dude, you know. I
mean, I drink other beers.
Live in the now, man.
Dude, I drink other beers.
I know, but the
wrong guys out of Cincinnati.
Of all the light beers.
You know what's back?
What?
It's Sam Adams Octoberfest.
I know. I'm gonna get a keg of it.
Oh my god!
So when we have our next show, we will have a keg of Oktoberfest, which is like dangerous.
I'll tell you what. There's like probably 3-4 years ago where like one season I was just like it was like every night Oktoberfest.
Oh, dude, it's fucking awesome. Like literally, we I remember we would like find out like where it was at, and then you'd go down and like buy like fucking like cases of it.
I mean that stuff is, and I just started drinking it like 4 years ago, and like
you've been missing out this.
Well, I just
how do you not drink it? Andy and I drank it all the time.
Probably because you two dorks were drinking it, so I was like, I'm not drinking that shit. Knowing me, being the stubborn jerk that I am, I was like, I'm not drinking that. I'd rather give me a Red Bull and vodka or a Coors Light.
I remember Andy and I, like, this is like when, our boy Andy, hopefully we'll get him on the show here. We'll see. We'll see. You know, we'll see. You know, and
we want to pass the test.
He has to. Well, we decided to go to a winter of. You know, because in Ohio in the winter, you know, it gets cold. So you're like, hey, you know, let's just get drunk all night, right? So like we're like, hey, we're only gonna drink good beer, right? So we like every time we'd go and drink, which is probably like, at that time in our life, probably like 4 days a week. It was like these thick, heavy like beers, right? And I remember like, man, I don't know, it was maybe like month 3 into it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Literally like month 3. I remember like I was in the elevator and this one girl who I may or may not have had relations with. I remember she went to my belly and rubbed it and going, oh. Is it going to be a boy? Is it going to be a soccer player? I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I guess that's why you don't drink thick, heavy, dark beers 4 nights a week, you know, for 3 months straight. It gives you a beer gut.
Circling back around, you're turning 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Metabolism slowing down.
Well, what's your gym schedule like? You've been heading to the gym at all?
I do the elliptical. We got elliptical in our basement.
You're a busy ass man. I'll give you that. I know everyone says they're busy, but like you actually are busy. Like
I'm a busy dude.
You get up at the crack of dawn. Like I talk to you, it's like 8 o'clock at night. You're still freaking working.
Yeah.
Like you know,
as a therapist, man, it's tough, man.
I know.
Yeah, it's just because a lot of times you know when your clients, you know, it's tough for people to go off during the day or during college, so it's.
Understood.
Yeah. So it's a little tough. I mean, I've been trying to find a good balance in life. I try to come home early on Mondays, and pretty much Fridays kind of like a half day / admin day. But yeah, we got a Nordic track in our basement, so I've been trying to do that. I love doing heavy weights, but my shoulders just fuck the hell, so I can't really do heavy weights at all. So
you know what? I don't think you need heavy weights.
But the thing is, the only way I like working out is heavy weights. I cannot stand doing low weight, high rep. I hate it with a passion.
Really?
The only way I ever enjoyed working out was lifting really heavy weights. Yeah.
I'm almost the opposite. I'll lift with heavy weights, but I like more of the lower weights with the higher reps.
Oh, dude, it was like a rush, dude. I literally, like, when I was in grad school, this, right before I busted up the second time, I probably put on a good, like, 15, 20 pounds of muscle. I had, like, people thought I was on steroids. Literally, like, I mean,
dude, your boy Hutch and your boy Chavo have said that about me 2 or 3 times now.
You guys kind of juiced up, but you work out, though.
Now,
I mean,
they try to, like, half-ass, like, laugh about it, but I'm like, and then, like, I walk away, I'm like, I think they really think I'm on steroids. I'm like, what normal person would, now, unless you're under a doctor's prescription, or you're an athlete with millions of dollars on the line, which any one of those two, which I qualify for neither of those. With those 2 exceptions, I don't understand why any average person would do any kind of PEDs to look good.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot. Yeah, honestly, they're one of the. I know a lot of times with girls with bulimia and anorexia with body dysmorphia, but actually one of the fastest growing subsets is men with eating disorders, and it's more body dysmorphia and
they don't eat as much. They don't eat enough,
no, it's like they want to get jacked and like just get like totally jacked. No. Well, it's not eating too much. It's that everything is about definition and like super low body fat, but getting shredded. And so it's like they're working out like 7 days a week, 2 times a day. Like
what are they eating?
I mean, I don't know. Well, it's not necessarily like it's an eating disorder. It's more the body dysmorphia, and working out is like a purging. So it's like the working out, and it's like literally like I had a good buddy of mine who was an ER doc, and he said if somebody came in with pissing blood,
oh my god,
first question he'd ask him, do you do CrossFit? Really? Because CrossFit, you get
I've
a lot of
done CrossFit.
It's fucking
Not
crazy,
really,
man. I mean, it will transform people, but it's a lot of really intense workout, and it attracts a lot of people where it's almost like an addiction. And it's called when you overwork out instead of it tearing the muscles and then building up, you tear them so much where they literally break off and go into your bloodstream. Well, then it filters into your kidneys, and then your kidneys will start shutting down. So it's like,
damn, dude.
So
it's to what to look good. I mean, come on.
I mean, dude, crazy. I mean, it's like, I mean, literally, I have like some kids who are saying like their parents like they never see them because it's like they work out in the morning, they don't see them. They come home, they get off work, they work out. It's like, it's no joke, man. And so it's I don't know.
Must look good on Instagram.
I want to be healthy, and I want to I want to do the sports that I want to do and not hurt, and that's where it's tough getting old, man.
Like, I just want to, my whole goal, like, when I started, like, I've always worked out, but like to really like work out, to really stop, drinking and stop smoking and eat better and work out more. A couple of years ago, I kind of just decided to do that, and my motivation was because I want to be there for my children as long as I possibly can. And that's really all it is. Just kind of listen. Plus, the average American gains, 3 pounds a year?
Yeah.
On average?
Yeah.
which doesn't sound like a lot, but over 10 years,
there's
30 pounds. Like, damn.
Yeah, mine's always just been like, it's just weird. It's like there's been this slow, like, seesaw of like, it's like more over like 5 years or 10 years, maybe it's like an extra pound or two. You know, that little, it's called set point theory, where it's like your body has a set amount of fat cells and it just simply, goes up and down.
Yeah.
It's tough though, man. But I think, it's about, for me, it's about health, being there for my kids.
Exactly. Like, that's all my goals. I just want to be around as long as I possibly can for them. Like, that's it. I want to set a good example. I mean, I know that childhood obesity is up there, and, we're the fattest country in the world. I think we're number 2 behind Mexico. But it just, I don't know, lead by example. Getting back to like we were talking about steroids, I never understood why normal guys would do that unless a doctor has it prescribed for you, which is legitimate reason.
Well, you see
or
lot
you have $1 million sports contract on the line.
Honestly, you see a lot of older people with HGH because it's like,
they think it's for health reasons. Like, it's not for. What I'm saying is it's not for vanity. Yeah. That's my point. If it's something that's actually helping you, like, again, that goes along with the doctor.
Yeah.
Now, HGH is a little bit different because I know it's newer. There are some older people or just people in general that will swear by it. I know Stallone was one that will swear by. He'll tell you.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. If I didn't think it had any negative consequences, just because like
no one knows, it's
my
so new.
my only gripe with just where I'm at is just my joints. This is the first age where I've kind of felt older. My body just hurts, right? And HGH really helps that restorative, but it's like technically speaking, though, intense exercise and working out will make your body release natural HGH. So it's kind of a cop out too.
Yeah. Now, since I have gone into semi-retirement, I used to go to the my company gym every day, 5 days a week. There was a point there maybe like a year or two ago where I went 5 days a week.
Intense, man.
It's crazy. It's you just getting the groove, and we got to a point where like I would lift, and I would usually lift alone. I would usually be the only one in the gym, because it was the time that I would go out. But like I would literally, after I would get done with a rep or as I was pumping, I would literally get high, feel a high from the pump. I've never felt that before, and I don't feel that now with the new gym, but I don't go quite as religiously as I do because I don't have the time.
That's what's missing for me.
But I got to tell you, like, it was weird. Like, I've lifted
fucking awesome, dude.
Since I was like 16 or 17, I've gone on and off to the gym, but like, it wasn't until I was like 38 and like I would go every day that like, depending on which workout it was, I would get done with it and like I would stand up or I'd be on the bench or whatever I was doing, and I would literally like feel this like natural high.
Oh yeah.
It was the pump is what they would call it.
Endorphin rush, man. Yeah.
Wow, I was like, holy cow, that's amazing, and I would just be like, why doesn't everybody do this,
dude?
It's easy to say that. I get that,
but it's fucking. I mean, I think the only thing that's ever comes close is like skiing for me.
Really,
skiing and driving, like driving a fast car.
You got that Mustang, man. I imagine. See, that's awesome. That's more scares me, just because not because of you driving, because of other people.
Yeah,
or rainy weather.
For me, it's I mean, I try to be smart with it. I mean, I think I have to, the one I probably get a little reckless on that I've gotten a lot better at is like, deer, right? But I don't know, man. There's just something about pushing to that edge, and there's just something about it, man. It's just like
you get a high off of it.
It totally is, man, and it's exhilarating, just like with skiing, like pushing it to the edge. Like, I mean, there's been a couple times where it was just like, I can't believe I just fucking did that. And you're sitting there just like, part like scared, and part like that was fucking awesome. Like,
oh man.
So yeah, I think we all need something like that. It's just once again that it sucks as we get older though that those things that we do, it gets tougher to kind of do it. And so it's just, what can you do, right?
You know what else is going to be awesome?
What?
They're coming out. Maybe you heard this because I know you were a big fan of the original. They're coming out with a Matrix 4.
Dude,
did you hear that?
I'm super stoked.
Are you? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I think it's going to be good. Yeah, I mean, I think...
Well, the Wojciechowski brothers, who are now the Wojciechowski sisters,
right?
Which is okay.
Yeah.
I know one of them's behind it. I think the other one is not involved, which is not sure why.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Lana Wachowski is the one doing this one.
Lana used to be Larry.
That's a good question. I'm not sure which one is which.
Leisure Suit Larry now became Leisure Dress Larry.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. And so from what I hear, it's like they're not really saying much.
Well, not lots of them released. It was just kind of announced.
Yeah, they're not saying. They're saying it's in the Matrix universe and it will have Neo. Well, and it's all, and Carrie-Anne Moss I think is coming back, but they're not saying anything else.
They said Morpheus might be recast as a younger person. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure they'll explain it. But...
Well, Morpheus died, didn't he? In the last one.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, Morpheus died in the last one.
I've watched the first one so many times, which was fantastic, and the sequels were just kind of like, eh.
I could be wrong. I could have swore he died. Oh yeah, there wasn't as good as the first one.
Well, how can you be? How can you be? I mean,
it was tough to top that.
Well, and speaking of sequels, Keanu Reeves is also making Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I know they finally got that one approved. Yeah.
Number 3. No, they're filming it. Like they've released photos of it, and one of them, I think he had a big beard or something, long hair, and wild stallions. What do you think about that?
It's gonna be awesome. I mean, it's one of those, like, Keanu Reeves is one of those people where he would not do anything unless it was legit. So,
well, he's another, like, just
he's a dude. He doesn't have to do shit. He does not have to do shit.
He just reminds me of another guy that would just. He's just I've read up about him, and he's just a quality human being. Like a lot of these Hollywood people are D-bags, and I get it. You're rich, you're famous.
He seems like a Sam dude. I mean,
he seems like a down-to-earth guy. An Ohio State alum.
That's right. I always forget that about him. Yeah.
Which is random.
Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah.
Played for Ohio State.
Yeah. What was the name of the other quarterback? Damn it. In the replacements. I can't think of his name.
Oh,
also from Ohio State. Come on. What was his name? Don't make me look it up.
This is really going to bug me.
Come on. I'm going to look it up. Okay. We're going to end it right here with this looking it up just because we can't. It's on the tip of my tongue, too. And
Shane Falco.
yes.
Yeah.
That's an underrated movie.
It took a second.
That was an underrated movie as well. So.
That's actually really good. The British field goal kicker.
Yes. Ole, 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 ole.
Oh, God.
Whew.
On that note.
Well, we're going to go and wrap it up.
Should we?
I'm going to shut this shit down.
I know, it is getting kind of late.
Unless you got anything else to add.
No, man. It's a school night.
School night?
School's night for my daughter. You know.
I know. Tomorrow's first day of school for the little ones.
Not all of us are semi-retired.
Semi-retired. I like
semi-retired.
Kind of, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here for the Armchair QB show. I am Bill Reed. With me, America's counselor, the host of Gray Matters Radio. Check us out on the 614 Radio Network.
614 all day.
Y'all take it easy out there. Peace.